Let us understand what is database concepts.
So before understanding what is database, so let us understand what is data. We already know that data is a collection of raw facts. It could be a person's name, image, sound, and so on. So before processing, it will be called as data. Once it is given to processing system, it becomes information. So what is information here? So information will be the processed data which will be having a definite meaning. So information can be generated by processing of data. So now we know what is data and what is information. So this data and information has to be organized in such a way that it can be accessed, managed, and updated easily. So now let us see what is database, right? So what is a database? It's a large collection of logically related data in the computer system. Normally, it will be stored in the form of binary values, right? And most importantly, so database will be organized in a such a way that it can be easily accessed, managed, and updated, right? And in the previous class, we have learned about different applications of database as well. As we know, you could find database in every corner of the world. In every usage, we will find the database. Can give a lot of examples or a lot of applications for this. So banking could be the one of the application where you are going to maintain a different account holder information, details of account holder, name, address, phone number, etc. and the transactions which are carried out in that particular account. So here there will be a lot of accounts in the banking. So all the account holder information has to be organized and stored in a server so that it can be accessed, managed, and updated and utilized easily. And similarly, in the field of billing, you could find the application of database. So once the reader will come to your home, so he will enter the meter number in his system. He'll be having a small system in his hand. He will enter that, maybe electricity meter billing as well. So once he has entered that current reading, so it will search in the database regarding the previous reading, and using these two readings, he can calculate the number of units consumed. So with the help of the number of units consumed, he can generate a bill to you so that you can pay the amount later. Once you are paying the bill, again it will look into the database of meter billing, and regarding according to that, you are going to pay the bill. Could be rails and airlines. It could be any sort of communication, transportation. We can schedule your travel using a large database in the server, and you can reserve the ticket as well. So again, you are getting the help of database. So colleges, normally you have to maintain student personal information, attendance details, test or examination marks entries, office details, faculty details. All this has to be managed efficiently. So you need of database, you need of student database, you need of faculty database, you need of office database. So you will find database in the field of colleges as well. Telecommunication, maybe providing the internet services. During providing the internet service details, you may have to keep record of how many amount of data that particular user has used. So again, you need to have a database. and sometimes we need to keep record of prepaid and postpaid usages. So you will be using database in the field of telecommunication as well. Could be sales and manufacturing. You need to maintain the records regarding stock details, transaction details, inventories, and etc. So you will find a database. You could give some other applications as well. You could give the example of hospitals where you are going to store the record of patient, doctors, medicine details, all this. So database will be found everywhere. So some of the applications of database are listed in this slide. Again, human resource could be one more applications where we are going to store the database regarding employee details in the organization, or finance details in the organization, etc. Yes, now we are supposed to differentiate between manual and computerized. As per manual is concerned, humans are involved in this. As per computerized is concerned, some electronic devices are involved in this. Could be laptop, could be computers, could be smartphones, etc. Could be some gadgets as well. So let us begin with the one by one. So what is the difference between manual and computerized? As per manual is concerned, the volume of data which can be processed will be limited in the given time, right? So humans are involved in this. You cannot have a large amount of data in your memory. It's highly impossible. But as per computerized data processing is concerned, you will have hard disk and you will have other secondary storage devices as well. You can store a large volume of data in the storage area, and a large volume of data can be processed at this given time. So here it is less. Here it is, as per computerized is concerned, large volume of data can be processed. Right? If I give you the some manipulation of a big number, so volume, if it is high, as per manual is concerned, it is very difficult, but as per computerized is concerned, it is very easy. So large volume of data can be processed. A simple calculation will be done with the manual. Complicated calculations normally will be done with the computerized because it can process large volume of data. And as per manual is concerned, it requires a large quantity of paper. Suppose you are writing something, so you are in need of pen and paper, right? Suppose you want to give a report without using electronic gadgets or computer systems, so you have to write in a paper. So large quantity of paper is required. As per computer is concerned, you need not use a paper. Okay, you need not. You will use a minimum amount of paper. Sometimes you may have to get the hard copy, but most of the times you may give the report in soft copy as well. So less amount of paper will be used. I'm not saying no amount of paper. You will use some amount of paper for getting the printouts or hard copy, but I can say less amount of paper can be used, but here large quantity of paper will be used. The speed and accuracy is less because humans are, if we measure the speed, it will be less comparing to computerized, and accuracy is also less because we are prone to errors. Sometimes you are calculating a larger calculations. Somewhere you will get into trouble to calculate, or you will make a mistake somewhere. But as per computerized is concerned, you will give the command to the computer to calculate. So it will be calculated automatically. It is automatized, right? So job is executed faster and will be accurate one. Labor cost is high because so many humans may be involved to process some calculation, but as per computerized is concerned, cost will be less. Suppose you are working with a computer, maybe one employee is efficient to do a task, but whereas if it has to be done in using manual, you may have to use a more number of labors, so cost will be high, right? And here storage medium is paper. Always we store in a paper, write in a paper, right? We'll make a document in the form of paper, right? We will write it using the pen. So storage medium will be paper. So here it may not be paper, it will be in secondary storage devices such as hard disk and drives and so on. So these are the basic differences between manual and computerized. Okay, so let me repeat those differences. Volume of data to be processed is limited in manual data processing, whereas electronic data processing or computerized data processing, large volume of data is processed in a given time. Okay, so large amount of paper is needed in manual. Usage of paper will be minimal in electronic. Speed and accuracy is less in manual. Job is executed faster and accurate in electronic. A high labor cost in manual, low labor cost in electronic. Storage medium is paper in manual, storage medium is secondary storage in electronic. So these are the basic differences. You could find few more differences as well. And in the examination, it could be asked for 5 marks. What are the differences between manual and computerized data processing? So these 5 differences can be written in the examination, right? Now let us see what is the data processing cycle. So it contains these stages. Why it is called cycle? So it is not stopping. So normally it starts with the input, goes to process, output, storage, and communication. After communication, it may again get into the input for further processing. It will keep on rotating. That's why we call it as cycle. Right? You can easily make out in the diagram. First, let us see what is input. First, let us see what is data processing. We already know that we are converting data into information. Further, that information can be data to some other processing. That's why it is called as cycle. First, let us see input. So what do we do with the input? First, we have to gather the data from the source. As we know, source can be present inside the organization or outside the organization. It can be present anywhere. Sometimes it will be present inside the organization. Sometimes it will be present outside the organization. For example, if I need to have the marks of a student that is present inside the college, that is inside the organization. Data is present inside the organization. Suppose some information I may not get from the college. For example, I would like to know what is the current price of petrol today. For some discussion, I need that. So I may not get it from the. I will not be possible to get it from the college. So that is why I may have to search outside the organization. So data can be present anywhere. So you have to collect it. So once the information is collected, that has to be fed into the computer system using any input devices such as keyboard, mouse, or any other input devices, OCR, MICR, scanners, etc. Right? Here, the data may be in any form. It can be in the form of text, it can be in the form of sound, image, graphics, whatever. So that has to be converted, right? That will be converted to the computer in the understandable form. So it has to be converted. When input is taken, that will be converted into computer understandable form. Computer can understand only binary values, zeros and ones. So that is the function of the input unit. That will convert whatever the form of input into computer understandable form. That may be in the form of binary values, ones and zeros. Once the input is done, you are getting into processing. So it is consisting of series or sequence of operations or actions that has to be carried out on the input data to generate the output. Here some of the processing may be involving classification, sorting, computing the results, etc. Sometimes we may have to classify the data. For example, student information. I may have to classify the data because As per students are concerned, it includes all the students of the college. I may have to classify first years, second years. Or in first year or second year, again, I may have to classify section wise, A section, B section, C section, D section, and so on. So I have to classify as per processing is concerned. It may be consisting of classification, right? It may be consisting of sorting. The data inputted may be in random format, not in alphabetical order. That has to be sorted sometimes. Sometimes computing the results. I have made an input regarding different subject marks. I may have to calculate output. I may have to calculate the grade and all. So computing the results as well. So processing contains a lot of procedures, lot of actions, right? So those actions can be classification, sorting, computing the results, etc. Right? So once the processing is done, you have confirmed, you have calculated the result, or you have converted the data into information, and that is now ready to output, or that is ready to store the data. Either you can directly output or you can store the data. If you need the data to be presented in the future days, it has to be stored. If you have to present the data immediately, that has to be processed. So that has to be output. It has to be made available as an output. Storage. Let us discuss regarding storage. So data and information after processing and before processing need to be stored. So normally, whenever the data is taken as input, that will be stored, and after processing that will be stored. So before processing and after processing, that will be stored. So we need of unit called as storage, right? So different storage devices can be taken into consideration, like hard disk, pen drives, uh, CDs, or DVDs, or any other SSDs, etc. Right? So before and after processing, that has to be stored. Right? Why we store after processing? Because we are not displaying the result immediately. That's why it has to be stored somewhere. Okay, that procedure is called as storage. And sometimes we'll output the result immediately, or sometimes we'll output the result after some amount of time. Right? The result and computations, which results of computations has to be made available to the user in the form of reports, maybe in the form of hard copy or soft copy. Okay, sometimes the result may be in any graphics or animation form, which is having sound and video as well. Right? It can be in any form of reports. And many times we may have to communicate the output as well. So that is regarding procedure communication. Right? The computers can be used for data processing using communication devices, using wireless or wired media. Using Wi-Fi or using wired technology, we may have to communicate. Suppose the result which is generated has to be presented to the user. The user may not be present in our area, in our village, or in our office, right? He is somewhere else. That has to be communicated. See, you have fed the data, you have done the processing, right? You have stored maybe, or you have generated the output, but that is not enough if the user, which is the user who wanted the output, is present somewhere. If you present it your place, if you have made a report in your place, that is of no use. It has to be communicated. This enables remote data to be processed and managed. Have you done? Have you make this? You may use the technology of internet or network. You may use the technology of wired or wireless, and you will communicate. After communication, again, whichever the data you have communicated, or whichever the data you have output made available as output, and again given to the input. So this will not stop. this will keep on continuing. That is why we will call it as data processing cycle. So in the data processing cycle, it is consisting of, normally it is consisting of 5 stages: input, processing, storage, output, and communication. Right? It is consisting of input. Once the input is done, it is given to the processing. Once the processing is done, it can be generated as output. Sometimes, most of the times, you will store the result as well. And finally, will communicate to the other user. That data could be input to the some other processing system, and it continues. That's why it will be called as data processing